A shocking incident occurred in Zhangguozhuang Town, Pingdu City, China, when a woman believed to have been dead for 9 years suddenly returned. Her appearance left the family and villagers astonished, as no one could believe their eyes. Many couldn't help but shudder at the thought of someone who had come back to life after nearly a decade. Some speculated that she might have been under a mysterious curse that took 9 years to lift. Some even suggested that she had been abducted by aliens. So what is the truth behind this mysterious return of the woman? Join us as we delve into every detail to uncover the truth behind this thrilling story. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss any other exciting videos. This mysterious story revolves around a woman named Liu Shuping, 53 years old, and her husband, Lin Dezhu. The two were working in Chengdu City. With 2 children, a son and a daughter, their family seemed to be peaceful and full of happiness. However, 19 years ago, their lives changed forever when Liu Shuping was diagnosed with a mental illness. The illness not only took a severe toll on her health, but also turned the family's life upside down. From the day of her diagnosis, her condition worsened over time. Frequent and sudden seizures caused Liu Shuping to completely lose control of her actions. In the dead of night, she would sometimes suddenly rush into the streets in a panic, unaware of what she was doing. These sudden episodes left the family struggling to react in time. It didn't just happen at night during the day. Whenever her illness relapsed, she would lose control and often destroy household items. Even more terrifying, she didn't just stop at breaking things. She repeatedly attacked her children without reason, causing both physical and emotional harm. Liu Shuping's illness didn't just affect her family, it also became a topic of gossip in the community. Instead of showing sympathy, the people around them began to speculate and spread rumors about her family's situation. The curious stares of others gradually became an unbearable burden for Lin Dezhu and his children. Once a peaceful home, their family had to endure prolonged instability due to Liu's illness and society's harsh judgment. But 11 years later, a horrifying event shook Lin Dezhu's family. One day, Liu Shuping suddenly disappeared without leaving a trace, throwing the entire family into a state of confusion and despair. Sensing something was terribly wrong, Lin Dezhu immediately launched a search effort, scouring both nearby areas and distant locations, but all attempts were in vain. Despite the help of friends and neighbors, Liu's disappearance remained an unsolved mystery. As time passed, the hope of finding her alive grew dimmer. 2 years later, a heartbreaking discovery shattered the family. A woman's body, bearing a striking resemblance to Liu, was found in a remote area. The police immediately launched an investigation and sent the remains for DNA analysis. The results confirmed that the body was indeed Liu Shuping. This news came as a devastating blow to her family, especially Lin Dezhu and their 2 children. The pain of losing her was overwhelming, as they had to accept the reality that Liu was gone forever. After receiving the official conclusion from the police, Lin Dezhu set up an altar for his wife in their home. For 9 years, he maintained the rituals, praying for her soul to find peace. Every day, he would talk to her portrait, as if to feel that she was still by his side. However, just when it seemed like the story had come to an end, an entirely unexpected twist occurred. Behind Liu Shuping's supposed death, a shocking and mysterious truth was waiting to be uncovered. While everyone believed she had been resting in peace underground for years, an astonishing event took place on January 14th, leaving her family and the entire village in disbelief. A social welfare worker in Jinan unexpectedly found Liu Shuping and brought her back home. The sight of her standing at the doorstep of the house she once lived in left not only her family, but the entire village in utter shock. The story of the resurrected woman quickly spread throughout the town, becoming a hot topic at markets, tea shops, and within every household. Countless questions arose. How had Liu survived those 11 years of wandering? Why did she disappear without a trace? And why had she suddenly reappeared? A local resident recalled the unbelievable moment when I heard the news. I thought it was just a mistake. But when I saw Liu step into the village with my own eyes, I was completely stunned. Liu's family was caught between shock and overwhelming emotion. Lin Dezhou, her husband who had spent 9 years worshiping and mourning her, initially stood speechless at the door, staring at Liu without uttering a word. Her 2 children, now grown, couldn't hold back their tears as they saw the mother they had thought was lost forever return. But this strange return was not just an emotional moment for the family, it also raised countless questions. Who was the woman previously identified as Liu's body? Where had Liu been for 11 years? And how had she survived under such mysterious circumstances? The entire town was swept up in the incredible story, and everyone agreed that this was one of the greatest mysteries the area had ever witnessed. Some speculated that Liu Shuping's bizarre disappearance was due to an alien abduction. According to this theory, on the night Liu left home 11 years ago, she may have been unintentionally caught in a mysterious abduction carried out by extraterrestrials. Supporters of this theory believe that aliens often conduct experiments on humans to study biological structures or psychological behaviors. This could explain why Liu, an ordinary woman from a small village, became their target. Some even suggested that on that night, Liu might have witnessed a strange beam of light shining down from the sky, and before she could react, she was pulled into a massive spacecraft. For years, she might have been held in a zero-gravity environment where time passed more slowly than on Earth. The aliens could have used advanced technology to study her body, brain, and behavior, causing her to lose all memory of her previous life. Some even theorized that they implanted technological devices in her body technology that humans have yet to understand. After completing their experiments, the aliens may have decided to return her to Earth. However, since they couldn't place her back at the exact location and time of her abduction, they released her in an unfamiliar place without leaving any trace. This could explain why Liu was found in Jinan, far from the village where she had once lived. It's also possible that her survival and return were a system error in their plan. Perhaps they had intended for her memories to be completely erased, but faint fragments of them gradually resurfaced as she interacted with familiar people and environments. Liu's strange psychological state and confusion after returning could be consequences of the extraordinary experiences she had gone through. The fact that she couldn't clearly recall details of her missing years further supports this theory, as alien abductors are often believed to use technology to erase victims' memories to keep their research secret. While this theory sounds like something straight out of a science fiction story, Liu Shuping's sudden return after 11 years, along with the mystery surrounding her disappearance, remains an unsolved puzzle. Another theory proposed by villagers revolves around the existence of a mysterious curse or spell haunting the village where Liu's family lived. According to the village elders, decades ago, strange events related to mysterious disappearances and unexplained deaths had occurred in the area. They believed that the village might have been cursed by an ancient spell or afflicted by a malevolent force. Liu's sudden disappearance 11 years ago was merely the beginning of a chain of tragedies that shook the entire village. Those who believed in this theory suggested that Liu's vanishing was not a coincidence, but the result of a supernatural force manipulating the fates of those living there. Rumors circulated that long ago, a powerful sorcerer had been banished from the village after being accused of using spells to control and harm people. Before leaving, he cursed the village, vowing that its inhabitants and their descendants would suffer endlessly and that the spirits of the unrested dead would return to claim lives. This curse seemed to have lain dormant for generations until it was awakened by an event, possibly Liu's disappearance. After she went missing, the village began witnessing a series of strange and unexplained deaths. A young, healthy man suddenly died in his sleep, an elderly woman fell into a well unnoticed, and a small child passed away from a high fever with no clear medical explanation. These consecutive deaths instilled fear among the villagers. They started whispering that the ancient curse had returned and was taking the lives of innocent people. Some even believed that Liu was the sacrificial offering that triggered the curse, and that her return after 11 years was not a miracle, but a sign that the curse was continuing to unfold. Others speculated that Liu might have been affected by a dark spell during her missing years. They questioned whether she had come into contact with a supernatural force, or had even been transformed into a bearer of the curse upon her return. Liu's mysterious reappearance, coupled with the series of deaths in the village, led many to associate the events with ancient feng shui rituals or spiritual encounters mentioned in folklore. Some villagers believed that the only way to break the curse was to invite a powerful sorcerer to perform a ritual that would dispel the negative energy and free the trapped spirits in the village. However, the existence of a curse or spell remains just a theory, and the truth behind the mysterious deaths and Liu Shuping's strange disappearance still needs further investigation. Meanwhile, Liu Shuping's unexpected return has raised a major question regarding the previously identified body. Lin Dezhao was shocked to realize that the body his family and the authorities had confirmed was not actually Liu's. This not only stunned the family, but also sparked doubts about the police's investigation and identification process at the time. Firstly, the misidentification of the body could reflect limitations in forensic investigations 11 years ago. At that time, modern technologies such as DNA analysis might not have been widely applied or thoroughly conducted in the case. Instead, identification may have been based on external features, clothing, or other easily misinterpreted factors, leading to the incorrect conclusion. In this case, the discovered body may have shared similarities in appearance or had a few matching personal traits with Liu Shuping, causing both the police and the family to believe it was her. However, this mistake led to serious consequences, including closing the case without any further in-depth investigation. Secondly, the incident also raises concerns about the responsibility of law enforcement in ensuring accuracy and transparency in cases involving disappearances or mysterious deaths. After learning that Liu was still alive, the police were forced to reopen the case and reinvestigate from the beginning. This raises the question of whether the initial investigation had been conducted hastily or contained critical errors. Had more advanced methods been applied from the start, Liu's family might not have had to endure over a decade of grief, believing she was dead and even setting up an altar for someone who was still alive. Moreover, the psychological and emotional impact on the family in this situation is also a matter of great concern. For the past 11 years, Lin Dezhao had been living with immense pain, believing his wife had passed away. Not only did he endure the loss, but he also had to take on the roles of both father and mother to care for their 2 children. Now that Liu has returned, the joy of reunion cannot immediately erase the wounds and emotional distress accumulated over the years. Additionally, this revelation may have caused Liu's family to lose trust in the legal investigation system while also forcing them to confront unanswered questions about where she had been and what she had experienced during her years of wandering. Thank you for taking the time to follow this story. See you all in the next video.